Hey guys, I have been getting a lot of questions about this first problem on the math boxes today and how you're supposed to rename each mixed number as an equivalent mixed number with the same denominator. So I thought maybe posting a video would be really helpful. When you look at this number, here's basically what they're asking you to do. They want you to write a new mixed number that has the same denominator. And you can't just make it up. It has to be a mixed number where if you were to reduce it or to change it around, it would still be equivalent to this. So my advice is to look at the fraction and not the whole number. Just focus on the fraction right here. It's 5/3. That's an improper fraction. So if I were to reduce 5/3, I would get 1 2/3 left over. I'm going to add this 1 2/3 to the 7 that I already have. So 7 plus 1 is 8, and then I keep my 2/3. 8 2/3 and 7 5/3 are equivalent mixed numbers because all I did was reduce this, and it turned into this by adding my 1 and my 7 together. So these are actually the same. It's just a different way to write the same answer, okay? Because if you look, improper fraction, when it's reduced and added to the whole number 7 I already had, it becomes a new mixed number. I didn't just make these numbers up. Looking at 4 6/9, 6/9 is not an improper fraction. But some of you have forgotten a while ago when we first started talking about fractions, we talked about borrowing from a whole number in the mixed number and giving that to the fraction. So here's what I mean when I say that. I can borrow, just like I would when I'm adding or subtracting, and make this a 3. Well, if this was a regular problem, you'd say, oh, well, this is a 3, now I'm giving the 1 over here, and this is like a 16 or a 10 or whatever. Okay, well, that whole number that you're giving, it's not just a 1, you have to think of it in fraction terms, and these are ninths. So that 1 that I took away to make this a 3 is actually 9/9 that I'm giving here to the 6/9. So now I'm going to take that 6/9 that I had, and I'm going to add it to the 9/9 that I borrowed, put them together, and I get 15/9. I put that together with the 3 I have left. It still has a denominator of 9. Yes, it's improper, but when you're renaming, it's okay if it's improper. I know we always say reduce, 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 but in this situation, for this type of question, it's okay to have an improper fraction. I'm going to do the same thing with C. 7/8 is not improper, but I can reduce. I can borrow 8/8, because that's a whole number, I'm borrowing a whole number, and I'm going to take it and I'm going to give it to the 7. So I had 7/8, but I borrowed and I took a whole, so I took 8/8, and I'm giving it to that 7/8. 7 plus 8 is 15/8. I still have my 2, so I have 2 and 15/8. Okay? D is a lot like A. I have an improper fraction, 19/14, so I can reduce that. I know that there are 14/14 that make a whole, so that's 1, and then 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So I have 5/14. I already had 5 over here, so 5 plus 1 is 6. And my 5/14 left over. Okay? Another problem that I got a lot of questions about today was number 3 on the math box. A lot of people are reading it. Hannah and her 3 brothers are equally splitting, so we know it's division, splitting the cost of this amount right here. And so you're taking 379 and you're dividing it by 3, right, for the 3 brothers? But you're forgetting it said Hannah and her 3 brothers. So Hannah plus 3 brothers is 4 people who are splitting the cost. So this is the cost, and 4 people are each paying a part of it. So that's going to be how you set up your problem, and that will affect what you get here for your answer. Then, because it's money, you have to ask yourself, well, what did I do with the remainder? Would you round the quotient up and make each person pay more money? If you do, what are you going to do with the money that's left over? Then you have to divvy it back out to each person. If you report it as a fraction, well, you can report money as a fraction. 50 cents is half of a dollar. Or you ignore it. If you ignore the remainder, that's money. So how can you just ignore it? Are people paying enough? Are they paying too much? You have to think about what that remainder represents and what would you do with it if it was money that you were dealing with. Because in this case, we have to make sure that each person is paying the fair share and that it's equal for all 4 people. I hope this video helps you with your math. If it doesn't and you're an in-person student, see me in the morning. Let's work through it together. If you're a virtual student or a student who's quarantined at home and you still need some support, shoot me an email or a Google comment and I'll touch base with you and we can do a Google Meet.